Are you ready? All right, I'm going to start off just kind of like dumping a bunch of detail at first, and then we'll go by the step 1, 2, 3 of getting out. But these details are more like an early defense. If I can remember these details, it'll be difficult for somebody to establish a strong back mount control on you, right? So what are some of the elements that y'all know that you have to have to control the back mount?
Like when you're
Grip.
on the back,
Mm-hmm.
like your hooks.
Yeah, you gotta have your hooks, that's for sure. Go ahead and put your hooks in. So having my elbows in tight to my hips, when they go to put their hooks in from the beginning, I can use my elbow as like a barrier or a roadblock, and my leg can outmaneuver. Like my leg will trace their heel and I can beat that hook, right? Sometimes they get their hooks, and if I'm quick, I don't like leaving my neck open for too long, but if I'm quick, I can undo that hook really fast. That looks like this. You just make like a thumbless grip, like a stirrup, like they're standing on stirrups. And I'm not strong enough to like move their leg around my leg, but if I set this hook on her foot and she really insists on keeping that, it kind of makes her foot kind of suspended. It makes my leg have the ability to outmaneuver their leg, right? And so this is actually a really fast drill. I do this a bunch. Like when they get their hooks in, I'll just circle my feet around their legs. But I really need to keep my elbows into my hips. Now that does leave my neck open a little bit, right? So my hands, I always try to cross them so that my palms are facing outward. That way when they do try to grab my neck, I can grab their arm. That'll be the best bet to like unravel the choke, right? All that being said, let's deal today. I've already messed up and they've got their hooks well established and they've got their grips. I'm still gonna kind of take it that way. I wanna beat these hooks first. When they have a seatbelt grip, I want everybody that's on the back mount to make a seatbelt grip today. You've got an over and an under, right? The underhook we call the weak side, and the overhook we call the strong side. It's only called the strong side because of the choke. So you could also call this the choking side, right? So if I was to fall left or right, which way would y'all think would be the wisest way to go? Away from the non-choking side, right? That's easy to figure out. Yeah, her choking hand will point my exit. You could think of it that way. Okay? So step 1, I got to put the back of my head to the floor. If her head is kind of like established next to mine, it boxes my head in and it really limits my escape. So step 1, I'm going to turn and put my head to the floor. I put my head to the floor so then I can turn and start to put my back to the mat. Right? Now look, I'm already beating the hooks. Even if this hook was left in, it's really easy to outmaneuver that. I can even, now that my neck is not so much in threat, I can reach down and beat that hook. And then I'm going to run my hips. If I just turned and got up right now, I'm going to end up in a good position, but she'll still have her legs against me. So I want to make a barrier to her climbing on top, and then I'm going to run my hips. I just kind of slide them sideways. It's a hip escape, but as soon as my hips fall off of her leg, boom, I sit up. And I like to get on top. Okay? Getting on top right here where I face her legs sets me up so that I can step over the top, and now I'm in a dominant position. Now when I cover that much ground and get all the way on top, that's kind of greedy. I've had instructors tell me before that that's kind of greedy to try to get all the way to the mount. Yes, it's greedy. I want to set my aim high so that if I fall short, I've still made enough space to escape the bad position, right? So today I want you to aim at going from having somebody on your back mount all the way up to the top mount position. Let's look again, we'll go on the other side. So now this is my choking side, so I'm going to go away from that. It starts like this is the order of operations. Head to the mat, so I can get my back to the mat.
And see, I say his belly button is facing up, so he's flat, he's not on his side.
If I stay on my side, her hooks will just keep her attached to me. The analogy that helps this stick into my head, has anybody ever stepped in gum and had to use the curb, kind of scrape it off of their shoe? Okay, I'm going to use the floor to scrape them off of my back. If I put my head to the floor and then turn my back flat, once my back is flat to the floor, they're no longer on my back. And then I run my hips. There's two ways I keep them from climbing on top. Look, she's already wants to, you can tell, she wants to step over the top and get to the mount. I have to block that. So I could either reach across and block the knee with a straight arm. I'm not using muscle, I lock that bone of my elbow out so that it's a frame that she's running into when she tries to sit up. Another frame I use a lot is this elbow. I'll point it right at her hip so that if she tries to climb on top, it stops her from getting up on top. Now, to get up, I want to avoid trying to just turn and run. They'll jump right back on your back, right? So I'll block them, and then now I have to turn and face them. This motion, I call it my chicken wing. I'm going to put my chicken wing on their hip, and I kind of pull myself up, kind of rolls them over and makes a real heavy position. Even if I'm not very big, I can lean back and kind of fold them into a good smash, right? But facing their legs makes it easy to just kind of push the legs down so I can step over the top, and then I've got a good mount position. I can sit up in my hot pocket from here. Yeah? What other details do you like?
That's good.
Yeah.
That's
Any,
about all I do.
any other questions?
We all reverse it real quick so we can see, like, Mindy trying to do it.
Oh, doing the same escape?
Yeah.
In some of the classes, we've had people make the comment like, well, why wouldn't I just jump and run away? I highly recommend getting all the way to the mount first. That's a better position to get up and detach if you're looking to just leave that situation, right? If it's something where you're trying to get to the door as fast as possible. When I get to the mount, I can just mush their face to get up, right? When I'm halfway on side control, or like when I'm just barely escaping the mount, again, if I turn and run too early, they're just going to grab me by the shirt or the pants or whatever. They're going to grab me and climb back up onto my back, right? So I like to get all the way to that dominant position first, and then I can break away if I want to. Cool. So I'm going to set 2 timers. For the first timer, I just want one person to get their repetitions in on this escape, and then at the end of that timer, we'll switch top and bottom and let the other person practice. Ready? 1, 2, 3.